again. Sorry about that. I'll just wait for other folks to hop on. Sorry for the tech issues, everyone. It's a mixture of my phone that I stream on being old and also YouTube being weird and me being old. Everything's breaking down, but thank you for bearing with me on my very low-tech streams. In case anyone did not see the first stream, which I have just deleted because I don't want two streams confusing people, I'm trying something new. Okay. Are we here or are we not here? Because YouTube keeps malfunctioning on me. Yay! Okay, great. So I'm very sorry for the weird disconnects. YouTube is like starting to freak out on me. I don't know if there's any other YouTube creators who watch me, but they've started doing very stringent security checks. So every time I go into YouTube Studio, which is like kind of the backstage settings area for YouTube creators, every time I go into the YouTube Studio app on a different computer or on a different phone, it freaks out on me. It asks me for my password and for like a multi-factor authentication code, and it's gotten very, very tiring to switch back and forth between different machines, basically. I'm also just getting old. I have noted that in the past 2 years, my tech abilities have greatly been lagging. Things are advancing so quickly, and I'm getting old, so the new interfaces are becoming less intuitive. Whatever the case may be, thank you for joining me on this Saturday afternoon. It's 1:30 p.m. New York time. It feels like summer outside today. Super sunny, upper 70s. I just came back from a walk. I went to the farmer's market in Sunnyside, grabbed some apples. I got 2 big bags for $7, which is way cheaper than the apples I've been buying at my closer farmer's market on Sundays. They might not be as good in terms of freshness and crispness, but I just wanted to check it out. And then I walked to H Mart and I grabbed some stuff for $15 total. So I spent like $7.50 at H Mart and then $7 at the farmer's market. And now I'm here and I'm really exhausted and I would like to sit, but I'm also gonna make some fish soup because I bought some salmon bone for, I know it's backwards, but it says 47 cents. This was 99 cents per pound, and I got one like salmon spine, basically. They filleted it out, and this is what's left after they fillet out the meaty meat. So we're gonna make some soup with this, and I can show you my haul as we go, but for the most, like, today's content, I want you to drive it. If you have topics you want to discuss, you can address it to me, you can address it to the chat. I just want to like take a back seat on my rants. I think it's time to switch lanes, cool off, you know, wear different clothes as a human being, so to speak. And I'm going to drink my matcha smoothie, which if you missed it on the last live that I just deleted because we got cut off, we have matcha, we have a dried powdery green of some sort here. We have mugwort powder, so they're all green. And we have pumpkin seeds, which is also green, oats, and some spices. So cheers to your Saturday. My mood is like a 7.5, 7.8, thereabouts. We're almost at an 8. We could be at a 9, honestly, today, because mentally I'm encouraging myself to feel optimistic, but physically I'm really bad. These 2 weeks have been very, very, very painful, just 24/7 aching. I wonder if it is because of just stacked up post-exertional malaise, but yeah, my body's not doing great, but I'm trying to make myself feel hopeful, um, despite all that we have witnessed. And can you hear me? Can you see me? Are we back? Maybe? Hopefully? I don't know how long we'll be here. Turns out life is not granted, as we've seen more and more. But yes, Carolyn, ME/CFS, fibromyalgia. I don't know if I have fibro yet, but surely it's on the way. Yes, I think it is because of long COVID. I've never experienced this sort of physical exhaustion before, and I've been trying to do 10 minutes of like light dumbbell work. I have a set of 12 pound dumbbells, and I have a set of kettlebells, and I've just been trying to do 10 minutes every day at home so that my muscles like at least maintain some degree of functionality. But I think that's also been building up into my post-exertional malaise, which has been it's just really hard. I don't know what the right thing to do anymore is. So I'm still remaining hopeful. You know, there's really nothing to do besides trying things and observing and tweaking and adjusting and keeping it going. So here we are, keeping it going. So, but what is BITD? Classy Consultant said, I literally was chatting about you to a friend the other day about the old videos from BITD. Enlighten me. If we get cut short again, maybe we'll try one more time, but I'm gonna hope that we don't get cut off again. I've unplugged you from my charger. Maybe the charger was heating up the phone, and then the streaming was heating up the phone, and then the phone was like, fuck this shit, and then it quit. So we're gonna just not overload it. But yes, say whatever you want to say. I'll let you start the discussion while I start my fish soup. But first I should clean my stove because it's kind of gross. Oh, back in the day. Thank you. Yes, those videos. I know. Everybody misses the old June with the budget eats and the calming demeanor and the jokey, funky recipes, and that June is still within me somewhere, and those recipes are chilling and hibernating, but now is not the time. Now is not the time. I do hope there does come a time. But, you know, this is the current world, and these are our current things, and you can take it or you can leave it, is what I tell people. I know a lot of people want things to always be there and stay the same, but, you know, marriages fall apart. So, many other things do. And honestly, if Delish didn't fire me, we would still be making those videos. I don't know if I would be enjoying them as much, because I got kind of tired of it, but, you know, if they didn't fire me, surely we would have been seeing more weird recipes somewhere on the internet. Corporations are why we can't have nice things. But corporations did introduce y'all to me and me to you, so. Nothing is all good and nothing is all bad, so we just learn for ourselves what we want to take and what we want to leave, what we want to learn, and what we want to discard. So, let's think about this soup, huh? All right. Well, in the U.S., we are not allowed to talk about Palestine. Actually, well, we are, but then we'll just get arrested, detained, evicted. What else? Expelled, fired, and deported. You're allowed, certainly. There's consequences to your actions, though. Ooh, okay. This everything happens for a reason is very, very controversial, I feel like. So please, have at it, y'all. Chime in. Tell us what you think. Do you think it's a stoic way to believe that everything happens for a reason? What would a stoic say about that phrase? Would they agree or disagree? Onion. Real tears, real feels. Ooh. Okay. Oh god, that hurts. Woof. resurgence of June's Kitchen on YouTube is probably not gonna fly. I lost a lot of people, and also just like, I think I stopped showing up on the algorithm basically for people who didn't know who I was. After I started getting more just opinionated about politics, and I think in the current climate, I'm really not going to succeed on any platform being an influencer or a content creator, just because I think if you observe around you this world, why we're all so miserable and like despairing right now and leaning into our learned helplessness is because we're starting to see how entrenched the systems are and how you really have to sell your soul and any semblance of standing up for people in order to like gain a foothold in these circles where you can actually get big. It's just not a priority for me right now. I've seen too many people die in too many horrible situations and conditions, and they continue to, and it's just, I'm just not motivated to play the game, you know? But yeah, everything happens for a reason, I think, is like taking Tylenol when you're running a fever. It's like when your body is burning up and you have no other way out of this pain, you just kind of dose a little. Everything happens for a reason until the fever kind of declines, and then you start seeing how dumb it is to rely on everything happens for a reason for the rest of your life. You can't. That just takes away the symptom. It doesn't do any long-term healing. That's my opinion. Anyway, here is 47 cents worth of salmon bone from H Mart. It was 99 cents a pound. I'm gonna rinse it slightly, put it in here, and onions, ginger, greens, tofu, make a soup. Okay, yeah, Kim, first of all, thank you for supporting me, and I know there's a lot of people out there who feel the same but are afraid to speak up, but like, that's literally how these things happen. People are afraid to speak up because people are afraid to get arrested and detained and tortured and shit like that, and you know, that's how genocides go down. That's how holocausts go down. So if you're gonna cling to your one and only life, then yeah, we will only have this one and only life. But if you believe in a more collective sense of existence, then you will understand what it means to actually live in solidarity. It's not living for others, it's just living. Solidarity is the only way to live if you actually believe in humanity. I think this is why I'm so pessimistic and cynical. It's just I think I maybe perceived and didn't know how to really summarize it in words when I was younger, but I perceived that people weren't living in solidarity, and it honestly makes no sense to me. I think it's kind of dumb, but it is what it is. That's another phrase, you know, that kind of goes into the echelon of everything happens for a reason, is it is what it is, but like, it is what it is. What are you going to tell people to do? If this is the way that humans have always been, if we have noted historical events that happen over and over again following these same patterns, it is not realistic for me to say, well, I think we can do better. Maybe we can't do better. Maybe there will always be a portion of us who will do better, and I put that in scare quotes because who the fuck knows what better is anymore? Who's better? What's better? According to what metric? But I think we are all balancing out the little minutia that makes up chaos, and so we have the so-called evildoers, and we have the so-called good doers, and then we have the so-called neutralizers. I just made up that word, but I think you know what I mean. Um, it sucks. It sucks. But we live. So we live. The bones, I'm thinking about maybe pulling the meat off the bones once it's more cooked. And then potentially I might freeze them and save them to roast at a later date so I can make them into crunchies. This is not a fillet, though. This is the bone. That's why it was 99 cents a pound. And that's why it only cost me 47 cents for this slab. It's basically the spinal bone and the trimmings. They took the fillet away. The fillets are being sold for, I think, $12.99 a pound. So here it is up close. It's a straight spine, basically, of the fish. I do get a little bit of meat, but oh yeah, true. Yeah, roasting would be good. I would like to roast it if it weren't close to 80 degrees today. Hello, Palm Springs. Welcome. I wouldn't say I've been politically active. I think I've been outspoken more about what's been going on in the political realm, but it's not really. Well, how do we say what's political and what's not? Like, these things are all so flustered together now. I don't even know what's going on in the world, honestly. I have a lot of tattoos. I started getting tattoos when my mom passed away. And I unfortunately stopped getting tattoos when I started experiencing severe long COVID because I didn't want to trigger any autoimmune stuff. I just think it's crazy that, Palestine has shown us the real stuffing of America. Just how every single branch of our American world is so invested in what happens in Palestine and how it will defend its Israel ally to no end, it seems. I'm not sure what it plans to do, but certainly nothing good based on this behavior. And, activists who have seen these things before were saying from the very beginning, all the tactics that they use abroad will come home, and we're seeing it manifest now. They are home now. People are just getting arrested without really a warrant, without full information. These agents are not uniformed. They're masked. They just like kidnap you, basically. They're like a fucking cartel now in the States. It's very strange to me because this is the exact kind of environment that I feel like my parents left China for, like, and yeah, I don't know. I do not know. What I do know is that it's really not going to get better if people just shut up about it. And yeah, there will be people who get the shit end of the stick, and they'll get in trouble and they'll suffer, and that'll be that. But people have been suffering anyway. There's a genocide going on in Palestine. In front of our eyes for many, many months, and it's escalating. So I think we are constantly making the decision for ourselves what we want to do as human beings. Thanks for looking out, Gary. I will do my best. It's my laptop charger, unfortunately. This laptop dies within 20 minutes without plugging it. I have all these like very old electronics, so we're just making do. But thanks for looking out. I appreciate it. I will be mindful. Subjects of conversation: importance of self-care to move forward, color design applications, party planning. Okay, very, very many topics. Self-care is definitely necessary. I think if anybody showed me the importance of self-care, my mom did, by dying, because she didn't take care of herself enough. And I think it's very overwhelming to live in a society that is very individualized now, so you feel this extreme heaviness of responsibility to cater to so many different areas of your life at the same time as one person. And if you don't have the social support network and the psychology that enables you to tap into those networks, then you will burn out. And if you burn out enough times and for long enough, you will die like my mom did. So yes, please find ways to take care of yourself. It's just silly to not. And when you have the resources of being energized because you took care of yourself, you will then have the ability to generate more energy to invest in your community, which is why I think some people say self-care is community care. I believe in that. Just don't forget about what it means to be part of a community. I think we want to win all the time now. I think our world has brainwashed us into thinking about winning all the time, and that's what our anxieties are driven forward by, is winning and building and like making it to the top. Started at the bottom, now we're here sort of mentality. And like, if everyone's trying to get to the top, what's gonna happen? Should we support all countries that want independence from their occupying country? I mean, should we? Like, what is should anymore? And what does that even look like? How do you support? How do we support Palestine? Great question. I'll leave it to you guys. And yes, the whole blackmail system is very interesting if you think about it, right? All these people basically being slaves to the system that is hurting everyone in it. What do they have to lose by disobeying, right? It means that they're already very, very entrenched and held hostage by the secrets or their own desires. Who knows, right? But certainly there's a lot of people doing a lot of shady shit, and they don't want other people to know because they have to uphold this facade. Which, if you want to go into the psychology of it, honestly, that's the most intriguing part of living as a corrupt human being, is like understanding the psychology and motivations behind why people do the things they do, the shame that they're trying to stuff down and run away from and hide from other people exacerbates over time, ferments into this spoiled mess that becomes harder and harder to keep under wraps. And like, why is everybody okay with following these orders? Certainly makes you wonder. I don't know. Thank you for appreciating my hair. It was like going through a very mullety stage. Whatever. Ever since the pandemic, I've really enjoyed playing with hair. Honestly, ever since college, I've really enjoyed playing with hair out of necessity, because I didn't want to pay for a haircut. My friend gave me a haircut. I did not like the haircut. I started cutting my own hair. I really did not like the own haircut that I gave myself. And that began a journey of a lifelong haircutting exploration hobby that really like exercised my ability to withstand embarrassment. Because you know, when you're walking around with a haircut that just looks absolutely disastrous, you can't really hide that shit, you know? So it's been a very fun learning experience for me to see how much embarrassment I can stomach and realize that it don't matter what you look like. People will hate you and dislike you for other reasons anyway, so hair grows out, people change if they want to, if they have to, and it's all in time that you discover nothing really matters that much. These pants I thrifted from Salvation Army last week or the week before. They're 100% cotton, apparently made in the USA. They're purple, and they fit my waist when I haven't eaten much, so very, very dangerous situation of potentially not fitting into them when I eat. But they fit really well. I really like this brand. I think it's Bongo. And a little bit of a high waist situation here. The length isn't too long. I think it was $10 at the Salvation Army, but like honestly, 100% cotton made in the USA that fits me. They don't make pants like this anymore. And then the top is something that I salvaged from college days. I used to do this thing called Trash to Treasure in college, where we would take student possessions that they left behind when they moved out after the school year ended, and we would do this huge garage sale basically, and then we would give all the proceeds to United Way. And the last day I was there, nobody was buying this, and we were starting to like kind of clean up the unwanted items for just total donation, or trash, depending on the status of things. And I salvaged this one, and I know it's backwards, but it says, "I love small talk." I asked Grandma to crop it for me. Unfortunately, I asked her to crop it too short, so now it's like actually a crop instead of just a short t-shirt. And I don't think I've worn this very much since she cropped it for me. So it's kind of bittersweet now wearing these clothes that she tailored for me. At the time, I think I just ran out of t-shirts for her to fix. I was trying to think up of things to occupy her time so she doesn't go like crazy, which she did anyway towards the end. Unfortunately, they had to confiscate her scissors because apparently she walked out where the nurses were stationed one day with scissors in her hand and just like complaining about maybe not getting the food that she wanted, and the nurses told me they had to take it away, and that if I gave her scissors again, that would be a very bad thing. So unfortunately I couldn't give her another pair of scissors. She kept begging me for scissors. Impossible situations, guys, just impossible situations. And she died hobbyless and sad, and I feel the guilt on some days for sure. But now I can look cool. Thanks, Grandma. I'm sorry for all the times that I was really mean and angry, but we made it. That's honestly one of the first things that I found myself saying to her corpse when she died, was like, we made it. Death is very strange, y'all. I'm trying to fish out all of the bones right now before they sink into the soup and make it really hard to eat. We'll see if I'm successful. Already losing the battle. I was talking with my dad about all of this too, you know, and Dad was like, we're lost. Spiritually, we're lost. You know, we used to have religion, and now fewer and fewer people believe in a world beyond this one, and so everybody's just descending into this sort of hedonism. I was reading this article yesterday, this like little satirical op-ed piece, and I think it used the phrase virtuous hedonism, and I was like, yeah, woof. If that doesn't summarize what we've been seeing happen, I don't know what does. Virtuous hedonism, you know? You still buy all the shit you don't need to buy, but, you know, as long as this company treats its workers right, or if it's sourced right, or if it's, like, humane, then you're free to consume. But at the end of the day, you're still consuming really beyond your needs. And so it's still kind of hedonism, just virtuous. Watch me choke on a bone later this week drinking this soup. I'm gonna do it. I can already feel it happening. Alright, we're gonna start cutting in our tofu into the soup. I got 2 boxes of firm tofu for $2.50, so $1.25 each. But I'm gonna put these in the fridge. I'm gonna use the tofu that I bought last time first, because first in, first out. Different brand, I believe same price. I believe I got this one for the same price. Yeah, belief is a double-edged sword, you know? It's true. I think it matters more your intention behind your faith, why you choose to have this faith to abide by. I think intention matters so much. Carrots I chopped last week. We're cooking salmon soup today. Tofu, carrots, onion, a little bit of salmon bone that I fished out already. There's turmeric in here. I'm about to add some tofu. It's really 47 cents, not that much meat, but We're going to let this cool, and I'm going to add back some of the skin, but I need to extract the bones out of it first. You know, that's why it's 99 cents a pound versus $13 a pound for the fillet, because you have to do more work to extract lesser desirable cuts of meat, but it's there for you if you need it. Santa soup. I mean, Santa's been dead a while. I don't know if that guy's good to eat anymore, but. Found a bone. Baby. Hi. Hi, baby. Hi. Are you hungry? I put some onions in the salmon, so I don't think you can have it. And I don't think you want salmon anyway, do you? Do you, baby? Hi. Do you want a little soupy soup? Yeah. Do you want to smell a tofu? Do you want to smell a tofu? No? Yes? No, yes? No, yes, no, yes? Where are you going? Yeah? Oh, tearing up my bed. He's tearing up my bed. He's tearing up my bed. I'm gonna turn this heat to low. We'll set a timer for 10 minutes. And we'll go see what Memo's up to. Baby, baby, what you up to today? Tearing up my bed. Hi. No. Are you looking healthy, Memo? You feeling good? Yeah? He just threw up all his dinner 2 nights ago, but he's still on a 2.5-day poop schedule, and I don't know how he's staying alive, but he is. You are. You eat so little food. We just did laundry yesterday. Hi. And he freaked out over that, but we're cool now. That's good. Yeah, my uncle also said he thought Memo gained some weight. And I was like, how? He doesn't even eat. This little guy. This little guy. Eating his grass shortly before he throws up, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm reading your comments now about pushing beliefs on people. Some people are forced to believe certain things. I think we all are to a certain degree. Some people don't have the skill set or the habit of thinking for themselves, or they just don't even have the permission and the space to be able to think for themselves because they're constantly being punished for thinking for themselves, as we are seeing happen now in real time in the US. So I can't really blame people anymore. I think we are just all coming from very different perspectives, and I still have my own sense of morality, but clearly the sense of morality is not agreed upon across the world. Yeah, where you going? Where are you going? Going into the kitchen without me? What do you think he's looking at? Do you think he's smelling the salmon? Unfortunately, I put onions in it. Baby, I gave you salmon last summer and you didn't want it. Do you want some food? I have, at all times, 6 different varieties of dry food out for him. For the last 3 days, he hasn't really been eating any of the wet food I've put out for him, which is why I just give him like 2 churros a day and then leave out all the dries for him. And he seems to munch on it when he gets hungry enough, so I'm just tired of wasting cans and cans of food every day. That was a nice break. I like sitting there. As I was saying before Memo came into the kitchen, I also bought some fish balls from H Mart. They were also kind of on sale. I'm gonna plug you in. Hopefully this does not cut the stream short, but I was on 50% battery power. We got some of these fish balls, so maybe we can plop a few in. I think the last time I bought this was when we made our H Mart video, potentially. No? It's been a while. It's been a while. Look at this bad habit of putting a towel right on the stove. This is how I'm gonna kill myself one day. Accidentally. FBI's watching this, getting ideas. Yes, I am still in New York. I've considered moving to Europe, sure. Moving my whole life to a brand new continent is a big move. Here's the thing, right? When your views start to negatively impact others and you insist on it despite knowing its effects, that means that you see difference of opinion, viewpoint, lifestyle as a threat. That means that you essentially exist in a very insecure state of being. So, I look at the people who are okay with genocide and committing genocide and aiding genocide, and I just feel like they're really threatened by something. I just don't know what. Bought this miso a while back, so we're gonna use it today. The thing about identity politics is, why do you care? Like, why do you care if someone's gay? Why do you care if someone's trans? Like, why do you care how someone else identifies? Why do you care? That, if they can answer that honestly, I would pay. I would pay to hear their honest answer. But being honest is like the number one hurdle to a lot of people actually making peace with themselves first, and then with the world. I'm aghast that you don't know what miso is. Miso is fermented soybean paste. It is inoculated with koji, which is a rice mold. You can also buy koji. I'm sorry, everything is mirrored and so it's backwards. But koji literally just looks like rice. Like little cracked, opaque, creamy white pieces of rice. That's a rice mold that you use to it's basically like the sourdough starter for sourdough bread. When you make miso, you make soybean paste and then you inoculate it with starter. Koji starter. And I've looked into making my own miso, but apparently it takes like 36 months basically for it to cure. So I was just like, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to be at the same place for another year and a half. So let me just buy a tub. And it's not that expensive, so it's worth it for me. I'm down to pay for something that I can't make easily or I can't make within, 2 hours. And I certainly cannot make miso in 2 hours. Is today the last day of Ramadan? Yeah, people escaping themselves is the fastest way to do damage to themselves and to everyone around them. I learned this through dating most quickly, actually. Just seeing both in myself and in the person that I was dating, just seeing the amount of projection that happens, that gets thrown around, that gets like assumed to be the truth. Yeah, rough times. Know thyself, huh? It's hard. You might spend like 3 decades doing it, but it is necessary work. I could have sworn March 29th is the last day of Ramadan. I thought I looked this up. Google tells me it ends today. But maybe Google's wrong. Because Google, who can trust Google anymore? Gonna add in some scallions too for a little green flavor. I should add some parsnips in here. I got parsnips last week. And I didn't even cook them. And now they're sad. Sad and wilty. Alright. We're reaching dangerously at capacity. Does that mean Eid is tonight? Cutting these parsnips smaller so that they cook faster, since I did not start them sooner in the stock, soup, broth. Yeah, I love the smell of raw parsnips too. It's like potato, sweet potato, onion. There's like a little bit of onion. There's like a little bit of dankness too, but then once you cook it, it's so sweet and just like beautifully earthy. I've gotten really addicted to parsnips lately. Okay, I'm gonna break my own rule. I know I wasn't gonna take over the conversation, but clearly I can't help myself. But has anyone seen Baby Girl? Can we talk about Baby Girl? And also, have you seen that director's other movies? Her first feature was called Instinct, which I watched last night. She also made Bodies, 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 which is, out of the 3 movies, the only one that I've liked and did not regret seeing. Um, I did not finish Baby Girl, by the way. I tapped out at 30 minutes because I was just like so cringed out. And then I was like, how could bodies belong in this repertoire? And then I looked into it, and Bodies was the one movie out of the 3 that she did not write. She was a co-writer on Instinct, her first feature film, and then she was the writer, the only writer credited on Baby Girl. But I would love to hear your thoughts if you've seen that movie. Any of those. And yes, dating has gotten hard, which is why I don't have an appetite or energy for it anymore. I just feel like it's like a losing investment in a way. Like I invest so much of myself into the process because I love meeting people. I love getting to know them. I long for connections, as I think all of us do on some level. But yeah, the amount of people who are willing to like carry through with a connection when they first come across one stumbling block, and the way they like run away from it has been discouraging. People don't have the desire to like overcome anymore, which I think is kind of like a social burnout situation. I think everyone's burning out and they're just exhausted and they want things easy. And clearly I'm not a very easy person to be around. See, I also wanted to watch Baby Girl because I was also like, now I have permission to watch naughty films. But it wasn't sexy to me. Like, was it sexy to you? Did it turn you on? Did it make you go, oh yeah, this is what I came for? Because I got to like the first kind of sexy scene and I was like, this is not what I came for. That shit was more awkward than my own sex life, which is saying a lot, and I really didn't need that secondhand embarrassment happening. Yeah, the dramatic, just how seriously it felt like it was taking itself. Or like at least how Nicole Kidman seemed to take the role and how her character seemed to take the situation. There was just such a mismatch. And if you watch Instinct by the same director, it explores very similar themes around like more kinky, taboo, sexual identity stuff. There's just something like so discordant. I mean, maybe that's what she was trying to explore. I don't know. I'm not really tapped into my sexuality like that, but it just felt like the characters weren't being honest with themselves, and like that pisses me off so much. And they're not like young people. They're not people trying to figure it out. I mean, they are people trying to figure it out, I guess, but they're old. I feel like at that age, when you already have a family, like you've had decades to think through yourself. And if you haven't thought through yourself, by the time you already have kids who are teenagers, like, girl, you have been slacking on life. You know what I mean? That's what pisses me off. How can you make a whole family without self-awareness? Like, that's irresponsible shit. And I feel like maybe this is triggering some sort of societal discontent that I have regarding how people just go into the mode of job, 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 family, 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 kids, 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 grind, grind, grind. Like, are you thinking about things? Are you thinking about why you're doing this? Is this necessary for you? You're such a little weird cat, man. You're so neurotic. Yeah, I love you though. Hi, baby. Hi. Yeah. Have you come to give me your fur so I can add it to the soup? Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for your fur. What a delicious ingredient. I'll make sure it goes into the soup. Hi. I will say though, I think out of the two movies, Instinct felt like the quote unquote deeper movie. I feel like it really went there with the taboo subjects. Obviously I didn't finish Baby Girl, so I don't really know if it went deeper, but I got the sense of like Baby Girl was just about a repressed businesswoman who really needed something to jolt her out of her routine and her personal prison of sorts. But I think with Instinct there was a lot of taboo being addressed, which I preferred. But yeah, the characters kind of just annoyed me. I don't know how to put it. But my friend Daisuke has been like making a good point of just like whenever you find yourself being triggered by somebody, it's probably because you see some aspect of yourself in them, which is kind of unfortunate if that's the case. I would not like to be any part of those characters, but maybe I am. I'm gonna put this hair in the trash. Be right back. Baby, baby, do you want some food? Are you begging me for food? Hi, baby. Hi. Okay, I won't disturb you. I don't know what Memo wants because he looks like he wants something from me, but then when I go close to him, he runs away. So. All right, I'm gonna get ready to pull apart our salmon bones, see what we want to keep for later roasting. So of course, because I didn't finish watching Baby Girl, I like ended up spoiling it for myself just to figure out how it ended, and it just, she got off too easy, you know? That's what it sounds like. But maybe that's what happens in real life. Maybe people do just get off too easy. And some people don't. And life is unfair. Okay, I'm gonna offer this little bit to our little angel. No onions. You wanna try salmon? Where are you? I don't know if you'll eat it. I haven't talked about the book yet. You're right. I got it from the library today. I went to return a book, and then I was like, all right, let me peruse the classics. And I found that. And it's been years since I've read Kurt Vonnegut. I think I last read it when my mom was still alive. I remember reading it on the bus rides home after working at a restaurant and then tutoring some kids and loving it. But I also remember trying to read Slaughterhouse-Five and getting so lost, and I think that's when I gave up on Kurt Vonnegut. So then today I saw that this was a short story collection, and I was like, okay, maybe we give this a try. So I took it out. I haven't started reading it yet, so I can't really discuss it with you since I have no idea what's in it. But if you have any favorite stories, let me know and I'll keep an eye out. I feel like Kurt Vonnegut figured some things out in life. You know, I feel like people who can joke about things in a very sort of a detached way has like figured out some things. The abstraction of comedy takes a deeper understanding of reality, I think. And I feel like Kurt is one of those people who got there. Alright, I'm gonna eat a piece of the salmon skin. I'm just going to like kind of do a quality check of how fresh this fish is. Okay. Maybe like a 7 out of 10. Could be worse. I don't expect top shelf quality, obviously. Whatever the case is, though, I still think this is better than whatever shit they put in cat food. The fact that Memo doesn't eat the food I cook is like a great insult, but also shows me the caliber of his palate. Non-existent. Oh yeah, Raymond Carver. I don't know why, but I took out a collection of his stories a while back and I read them. They're very masterful. They're not quite my thing, but they're very skillful storytelling because he like immerses you in this atmosphere and it's like normal but extremely unsettling and you don't know why for like 90 to 95% of the story. And then sometimes towards the end, like, you get the remaining 3 to 4.5%, but there's always that little percentage that's not explained to you fully, and you're just kind of like left carrying this mysterious, unsettling uncertainty and sadness and like hollowness. It makes you feel, they're not very happy stories. They kind of remind me of the feeling I got reading Faulkner's The Sound and the Fury, which was a lot and was very heavy and dark, but was maybe one of the first books where I read it and I was like, oh, this is affecting me. Like, this is making me feel stuff, like deep-seated stuff. So not for everyone, but very crafted. All right, we pulled out some of the fish meat. We're gonna put it back in. And then we're gonna eat some leftovers. Remember our tomato sauce things? Yeah. These are some pickled turnips that I haven't touched in probably 2 weeks. They got a little olive oil sitting in there. Mmm. Delicious. Okay. Yeah, it's like turmeric-y salmon soup. We're heating up some leftovers though, and I'm gonna add in some of our still cooking tofu in here. Just kind of a mishmash meal, you know? How we do here. Every time I go into the room to look at Memo, he makes intense eye contact and he looks scared. Ooh. And at other times, he like immediately looks away, like he's trying to not look at me as if I don't exist. Oh my god. That just splattered my entire microwave. You can't even see it. It's everywhere. God damn it. Alright, next time I'll use a plate. This exhausting. Exhausting. Oh, I read The Vegetarian. I think my friend Yamas gave me a copy when it came out. I didn't like it. I think there's a lot lost in translation too. Well, I don't know why Memo's looking away, because I feel very comfortable around him, and I thought we were in love. But if he thinks that he's making me uncomfortable, clearly we're not on the same page. Who knew that dating was as difficult with a cat as it is with a human? I don't know what my cat wants sometimes. I wish I did. I would give him everything he wanted, within reason, but I have lost my reason, so he literally could get anything he wanted if he just told me, but he can't speak my language, and I don't understand what he's trying to say with his funky little self. So here we are, misunderstanding each other all the time. Man, it truly feels like dating. Just the constant wondering of, what do you want? Just tell me what you want. I'll give you what you want, just say it. Would you say The Vegetarian is magical realism? Oh god, it's so gross. How did it splatter this much? And it's red sauce. Ugh. feel like magical realism is just like when shit feels real and dreamlike at the same time. Like there's like people levitating and flying, but nobody in that story feels like that's a strange thing. That's magical realism for me. Or like, you know, people living for 234 years and nobody thinks that's weird. Like, maybe it is strange, but it's not like out of the possibility in their world. Like, basically, like if mythology came to life, that's what magical realism feels like to me. And I'm not a fan of magical realism because I'm not able to suspend my disbelief. So those pieces never get to me. I don't know Airbender. Sorry. Still cleaning for a mistake that took 1 second to make, and you know, so it goes. The worst part of this mistake is that I knew it could happen. I just didn't believe that it would fully. So I gambled. And I lost the gamble. And that's usually when the self-defeat and hate comes in. When you realize the price of your hubris is not something you wanted to pay or were prepared to pay. When you realize that your past self really stuck it up to your future self. All right, I'll call it a day. Oh yeah, psychological horror. I might agree with that categorization too. First of all, cooking, consuming, and cleaning they're not features of capitalism. They're just life. We don't want to face up to the fact that life kind of just is drudgery sometimes, but capitalism has made it worse, for sure. Because what capitalism did was accelerate things. It accelerated and enlarged our appetite, our void, if you will, and it made our hunger magnified until it was not able to be satisfied by just consumption. But it perpetuates this myth that if you consumed enough, if you produced enough, you'll finally feel satiated. But that's just a fairy tale of capitalism, so that you work a little bit faster and harder and turn the hamster wheel a little more efficiently. But there's a price to everything. Okay. And I'm gonna add in like 6 fish balls so that it flavors the soup a little bit. Oh, and we should also put some of this in. I've been trying to eat this like 2 to 3 times a week. Who knows if it helps. My mood update today is like a 7.5, 7.8. And Memo is still alive. He's not really eating as well as I hope he would, but you know, I'm starting to realize that maybe he's sort of a miracle cat who just doesn't need that much food. That's the only explanation that makes sense to me. So I've never seen a cat eat this little. But I'm kind of playing it by ear every day. You know, if he's rejected my wet food 3 to 4 days in a row, then I just leave out dry food options for him and try to offer him churu twice a day. And if he gets hungry enough, I'll hear him crunching away at like 9 or 11 p.m. So he gets some food in. He's still going, which I'm looking at these days like they're a bonus, you know. I was ready to say goodbye and put him down in January, so everything has just been 2 months of bonus Memo time. Bye, Valeria. So that was fish cakes, and this is Cotinopsis lanceolata. It's a root used in East Asian cuisine a lot. It has medicinal purposes apparently. I just found this at H Mart, but there have been studies that have shown this to be an extract of this to be effective against respiratory disease like COVID. So I've been eating it to see if it might help with my long COVID. It kind of tastes like celery root and parsnip together. So it'll fit well in here. Yeah, I'm sure long COVID is more common than we give credit to, but there's also just a shit ton of other stuff that's been happening to us, you know, like just a lot. Society seems to be breaking down its facades, and I think the mental toll, the psychic, emotional toll bleeds through the physical toll. Just realizing what a shitty, awful place we live in, where all these awful things are a future, is a lot to take in. So we're not that advanced as an animal. I don't think we're as advanced as we think we are. So I think we always think that like we can just bounce back really quick and recover and advance and improve and just constantly be turning this wheel of embetterment, but I don't think we can. I think we need to just like fucking digest some stuff first. So yes, I have been taking NAC as well as other supplements, but I've actually stopped all supplements for the past 3 days. I'm trying to kind of like reset my body. I've just been feeling so bad the past 2 weeks, so I'm just kind of like eliminating everything and seeing what happens. I'll probably do it for a week or two. Clearly it's not helping enough. I started taking these supplements around September last year, so it's been 6 months. But you know, things kind of just keep worsening. Since September, we've seen the Harris campaign totally ignore Palestinian advocates and just shut down any requests to be heard and considered. Donald Trump won the election, and then Elon Musk is our president, and they're all idiots who have had very seemingly traumatic and problematic upbringings and just have done awful stuff in their own personal lives, and there's no law anymore. The justice system is being ignored. We don't know what's happening. Like, guys, come on. We live in total chaos. How can we not feel completely broken down into this just like paralysis mode? But also because of the pace of our lifestyles, we can't be paralyzed because we still have to go to our jobs and take care of our families and yada, yada, yada. And it's just like, one part of us is just like, holy shit, what's happening? This is terrifying. And the other part is just like, go, go, go. You can't stop. And so there's just like this very mismatched internal mechanism that is probably grinding on itself because of the mismatch of pace, and we are very dysregulated on so many different levels. I bought a bag of baby cucumbers. Potentially could make a salad. Maybe not today. Maybe tomorrow. And yeah, 2 bags of apples for $7 from the farmer's market. So I don't expect these to be very high quality, but they are like less than half the price of the usual farmer's market apples that I get. And they smell good, at least. They smell better than grocery store apples. And I'm curious to see how much I got, actually. So let's weigh them. They were $4 a bag, or 2 bags for $7. So I got 7. Because I don't go to that farmer's market very frequently, so I figured might as well get more. But I'm curious what the unit price is. This is 66 ounces. Wow. That's 4 pounds. That's 69 ounces. So between these 2 bags, we got more than 8 pounds of apples, which means the unit price worked out to be like 90 cents a pound. That's amazing. From the farmer's market too. And here's, I saved my H Mart receipt. I know it's backwards, but the tofu costs $1.25 each, the salmon bone 47 cents, the cucumbers 99 cents, the fish cakes $3.99 for a total of $7.95. Ta-da! So, you know, if we were still filming Budget Eats, I would be able to film it. And now I get to sit and eat and hopefully chat with you guys. Oh. Yeah, when I saw that deal, I couldn't believe it. It's been a while since I've seen farmers market apple that cheap, so even if they're like brown inside, I would be like, that's a deal. Hi, baby. Hi. Can I pick you up? No? You want attention? Do you want attention? Baby, 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 light of my life. Your paws are getting a little dirty. Do I need to give you a bath? No. I don't think I can die just yet. I think he will probably shred me if I tried to give you a bath. Meow, 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 meow. Let's go stalk you. Shall we go stalk you? Hi. Do you hear the burps? Do you hear the burps? Yeah? I hear the birds. You gonna go get them? Go get those birds. Go kill them. Bird time, bird time, bird time. Bird time, bird time, bird time. Do you think you want to go outside with me? Maybe one day we take a walk together? Do you want to go out on a leash or in a backpack? You want to? Oh, licky lick. Nice. Yes. Okay, Memo, I gotta go sit and eat. I'm sorry. I'm very tired. I think I might have exerted myself too much today. Here we are. Once again. He doesn't do the usual ek 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 chirping that I've seen and heard other cats do. He does this like very sad, like cracked meow. It almost sounds like he's like crying. And it really breaks my heart because it sounds like he's saying like a mournful poem of how he can't be in the outside world anymore. I don't know how to describe it. It's not like any other bird chirp I've heard any other cat do. Listen, I want someone to look at me the way I look at Memo too, okay? I am exhausted being a lover girl. In this economy, ain't no way. But whether or not it's autism, I don't know. But I've had exes tell me that, like, I don't have empathy. So, you know, what I think I'm communicating and expressing and giving is not what the other person is intaking, understanding, and interpreting. So, that's like the exhausting part of relationshiping, is when you feel like you're giving so much and the other person like either doesn't even want it or is completely not at all in agreement with what you're doing. So you know, we don't need that in our lives anymore. We just need peace. Anyway, here's my leftover slop. Okay, we got onions, we got carrots, we got some parsnips, we got tofu, we got some spaghetti sauce with some greens from last week and wood ear, and it's just it looks messy, but lots of nutrients and lots of flavor too. I lived and I learned. And I learned that I had too low standards. That is not acceptable anymore going forward. I think what other people want me to empathize with isn't what I empathize with. Does that make sense? I think especially Americans, because I think partnership and romantic relationship and any sort of friendship is so cultural. And I'm also part American too now, because I was brought up in this country, educated in this country. Like, my mindset has been molded by my peers who are mostly American. Americans are so self-centered and focused. And I am too, just even outside of my American identity, I am too. I think it's very human. But like, I think Americans have a harder time looking outside of themselves, because I do feel like this country is very infantile. And yes, I realize I'm part of it too. So like, this is all part of like a self-awareness sort of thing too, is just how big of a baby are you being right now? And do you want to grow up? I was actually just listening to a song today, and I think I have to go back and listen to it again with the lyrics on, but it's called American Love Song by Infinity Song and Momo Boyd. This is what the album looks like. It's mirror image, but you get the point. American Love Song, Infinity Song, Momo Boyd, and I feel like that song is kind of hitting on this topic right here. Because there's one line in that song that goes something like, I would love you more, but I can't because I'm American, or something like that. You know, I'm butchering it because I only listened to it once and I was distracted, but that line really caught my attention. I was like, whoa, okay, I have been thinking about this. I do think neurotypicals and neurodivergents view empathy differently. Absolutely. I also think it's cultural. I also think it has to do with other mental capabilities. You know, whether or not you want to frame it as degrees of mental illness. I think some people are just like rather disabled in terms of understanding what empathy looks like for different people. And I think some people assume that there's only one kind of empathy, and they're not curious to challenge their own beliefs or to, you know, expand their understanding, and they just assume that what they understand to be true is the end all be all, and in a relationship that is going to run you into trouble real fast if you're honest with each other. And it's going to run you into trouble eventually if you're not really that honest with each other, because it'll come up eventually. You know, you start spending time longer and longer with somebody, and all of these things will surface because the performance aspect of dating someone will erode away with time. So and I do agree with Caroline. I do think feeling empathy and expressing it are different things. For me, especially coming from like a Chinese immigrant background, feeling empathy the way Americans want to be like felt, it feels like coddling to me. It feels ineffective, it feels unproductive. Like, if you're complaining to me about something in your life that hurts you or stresses you out, I want to problem solve. The American kind of psychology is like, well, maybe they just want to be heard. And I understand that, right? But if you're telling me about this problem that is a staple in your life for the 4th, 5th, 6th, 10th time, how much longer are we going to listen to you complain about this issue? Or are we going to start trying to problem solve it? Like, the first 1 to 4 times, sure, rant, get it out of your system. But then we have to like start processing it, right? Maybe that's just like too therapist of me to do, but for me, at this point in my life, I'm in my mid-30s, you know? When I was in my 20s, I for sure, every day came home, ranted about my job to Aaron, and, you know, he took it. He withstood listening to me complain about my job over and over again. But like in our 30s, and how much longer are you going to do this ranty thing for? Or are you going to look into ways to problem solve? Are you going to grow up? I just feel like a lot of people want to be coddled forever, and yeah, sure, you can, but that's not really going to get you anywhere. Oh, there's a music video? Cool. I'll save it for later. So, you know, a lot of you have stayed with me through the years because you find resonance with what I say and how I express myself. Chances are there are a higher percentage of neurodivergence in here, and if you all kind of agree with me on how you can't stand coddling as a practice, as a standard, then like maybe it is like a neurotypical neurodivergent barrier. 2-gallon jars of chilies is a lot. Just hearing you talk about it burned through my stomach lining. Good luck. This is very, very salmon-y. Which makes sense. But now I'm thinking, do we add some spices to it to kind of tamper the salmoniness? Maybe some dill and parsley. I think the dill and parsley is gonna go great with like the parsnips. They're all kind of like floral, fragrant, herby sweet. By the way, one viewer reached out to me one-on-one on Instagram last week to ask spices. Feel free to DM me anytime if you want to talk spices. I'm very happy to talk spices with you. Yeah, I have been deleting Instagram off my phone. For the most part, it's very silly, but like I re-download it for about 30 minutes to an hour every day. But I have to delete it off my phone after I'm done posting for the day because it's gotten very bad. The phone usage has become a full-fledged addiction. So now that I've identified the problem, I will problem solve it. It is very hard to go cold turkey because my job kind of involves Instagram supervision now too. And you know, just social maintenance, but the barrier of not having it on your phone and then having to re-download it and re-log in kind of reduces the appetite for it. So how to make a drug less appealing. I'm drinking like a matcha shake of sorts, yeah. Matcha, oats, pumpkin seeds, spices, mugwort, and this dehydrated green that I forgot the name of. Yeah, I wonder how many neurodivergent people are left-handed. You know, out of my dad and my dad certainly seems like the most autistic person out of them too, but my mom was the one born left-handed. So, what are the chances that both my parents are undiagnosed neurodivergents? Because I think my mom was masking real hard. You know, they say there's a lot of overlap between OCD and autism, and also BPD and autism. And for a while, I thought I had BPD. Maybe I do. And for a while, and I still do, I feel very OCD at times. Like I have, like since childhood, I've had a period of years of like having intrusive thoughts. Either violent intrusive thoughts or like very taboo intrusive thoughts. So maybe I just have OCD or maybe I just have BPD and not autism, but there's a lot of overlap. And whatever my mom had, she was definitely undiagnosed with something because she showed very typical OCD traits of like, we would be in the car and then she would be like, oh my God, did I turn off the gas stove? No, we have to go back. I have to check, you know, shit like that. And she was very high anxiety all the time. Like she could not relax. If she didn't get a reply on an email from me within 4 to 8 hours, she would start freaking out, So there's something in my bloodline. I don't know what, but there's something. There's more than one something. There's a couple of somethings. Um, oh, Aaron's calling. Hi, Aaron. I'm on a live.
Oh, okay. I just thought I would talk, but yeah, don't worry about it now then.
Okay. All right.
Yep, enjoy the live.
Thank you.
Yep.
Are you out canvassing right now?
Oh no, I had errands to run today.
Okay.
Yes, but no, I was just gonna talk about some stuff, but it's okay.
Okay.
Later.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, bye.
Okay. Bye. Do you not work full time? No, I don't work full time. I work part time. And I work really slow, and I don't want to work this much. I don't think my body can handle it. I sound like such a wimp. But I've not had one pain-free day for the last month. And the last 2 weeks have been really bad. It just made, like, my bones feel tired. Like, the ache goes all the way through. So I don't feel normal. And I can't treat myself like I'm normal anymore, because, like, clearly I'm not. So... Yeah. I told you guys, I don't know, Freddie, if you've heard the story before, but I spent one semester in China in first grade, and I was left-handed, and I was writing the stroke order in the wrong direction. And, hi, Erin! And the teacher saw that I was writing the strokes in the wrong direction, and I got, like, publicly humiliated and punished. She called me up to the top of the class next to her desk, and then she slapped my first grader hands with, like, a yardstick. And I felt so ashamed. That's education in China. 1997. Yes, Aaron, the lover of spicy foods. That's him. Yes, you should send your Arbo chilies to Aaron. So, yep. Well, Aaron, you sounded like you were outside, but now you're on the live, so hello. Hope everything's well. Yeah. There's just a lot of intersections when it comes to mental stuff, you know? So you might have one disorder, or you might have many, or maybe a disorder is just a shorthand for our society to encapsulate a certain sector of experience, because by terming it a disorder, we're basically policing people already. We're asking them to police themselves and to police their immediate networks. You know, so there's also a social agenda to terming these things disorders. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Life is hard. You may hate yourself. You may do wrong things sometimes. But I think what's more important is, do you continue doing the wrong things once you recognize them to be wrong on some level for yourself? And what is your relationship to yourself? Do you have a healthy relationship with yourself? Are you okay with the person that you are? And if you're not, are you supportive of becoming the person that you feel like you might want to be? And I think it's when you take on the role of the policeman with yourself that things start to go really bad. Because that's shame-based existence. And I think when you are only driven by shame as a persistent entity in your mind and your body, you become untrusting and fearful of yourself. And that kind of lack of safety within your own body and existence, that kind of unhealthy relationship with yourself, will flood out to the other people in your life. Will cause genocide if we extend it far enough. I'm not saying our own issues is the only thing causing genocide, obviously not, but it's a part of it, I think. There's a lot to think about and also nothing to think about at all sometimes. So, whatever. Oh no, Kendall. Okay, damn. That's it. You guys were supposed to be driving today's chat, so now you can chat with Aaron. Oh my god. How do you walk on a broken hip? Oh boy. That's... Well, that explains some things, for sure. Sending lots of wishes for a... Stop, Aaron. Sending her lots of get well wishes. I'll message her later. Actually, I'll message her now because I know I'll forget. Because my brain's a piece of shit now. It's doing its best, but it's still a piece of shit. Oh, I can't. Oh, I'll just text her. I was like, I can't text her. I don't have Instagram. But I have text. I still have text. That sucks. Folks, this is what we have to look forward to when we get old. I would like to go back to the ancient days. As much as we complained about the old days, they feel very good right now to go back to. Have you noticed that we are sliding into this increased desire for nostalgic things? I feel like marketing and branding has been rolling back into like more retro designs too. Sort of like a refreshed repackaging of the 50s and 60s, and then sort of like a renovation of 70s font styles. Yeah, everybody says I'm not old, and if we're only going based on numbers, I'm definitely not old, but I think my brain's been old for a long time, and now my body's finally catching up, so. I agree, I understand what you're saying, that it's hard to imagine a future right now, but like, we are in the future. We're living in the future every moment. The future has always been abstract. And if we find it hard to imagine a future, because the future is always imagined, the future is only imagined, that's because our brains are burning out and we're overwhelmed and we're paralyzed right now by just the onslaught of information. And so if you want to go back to being able to imagine a future, you kind of have to like prune away the concurrent realities. I've noticed this happen on weed too for me. When I first started using weed, I was maybe like 26, 28, I can't remember which year. But for the first 2 years when I used weed, I loved it because my brain's a very messy, noisy place all the time. It never stops thinking, it never stops talking, it never stops second guessing myself. But when I got high, what used to happen was all the other like lines of cognition would just kind of silence themselves. They would fall away. And I would only have one line of experiential cognition where I would be more tapped into my physicality. I would be more enjoying the sounds that happen. I would be more tuned into like experiencing my own body. It actually made me tap into my like sexuality a little bit more organically too. But now when I get high, I get anxiety. I get more lines of thinking, and they're always like dark, troubled lines of cognition. And I feel like drugs basically emphasize certain realities that you're already experiencing at a baseline when you're sober. And so what's been happening, I think, is the inner world and the external world are just getting overwhelmed by too much information, right? We have so much data now. Look, I have my phone on to stream, I have my computer on to read your comments. I can even talk to Kendall and other friends at the same time on a different screen. That's how many layers of reality that I'm existing in right now. I get to talk to people I don't even see. Like, this would have been insanity in a previous lifetime. But now everybody's doing it. So, in a way, we are living in an age of insanity, depending on how you define insanity, because we are becoming more schizophrenic as a society. Even when you think back to the early ages of like Bluetooth, headphones, earbuds, I would pass by somebody on the street and they would be talking on their phone, but I wouldn't see them talking on their phone because their phone would be elsewhere. They just had headphones in. And then I would be like thinking to myself, whoa, is this person crazy? Like, who are they talking to? And like, kinda, you know? So we're able to imagine so many different realities now because we have this connection to so many tiers of reality, and it's becoming very busy. It's like a system that is not built for processing this load of data, and it's crashing. The system is crashing. Did I just spit out my food? Gross. I'm becoming an old person now. So, you know, here I go, tapping into my other reality, ignoring this reality and that reality and this reality. Oh my gosh, floppy disks. Do you remember when those things would break? I feel like I would panic every time I pushed that floppy disk into the computer and I heard it like do its little swishy swing thing, that little read noise. And if the file didn't pull up within a certain amount of time, I would start panicking, thinking I lost my entire book report. Those were the days. Yeah. Alcohol is a very interesting drug. I do pay attention to how people behave when they're on alcohol. I asked myself and others for a very long time, are the like intoxicated versions of you true to you? Are they also equally who you are? And that was a very fascinating question to ask people, because I don't think everybody had the same answer. Some people said yes and some people said no. I think more people were troubled by even considering that question because they didn't want to think about it, probably. Dill was a very nice addition. I got my t-shirt in college. It was the last day of a huge garage sale of what students left behind. I used to fit in it a little bit better. I think a friend took a photo of me wearing this on the last day of the sale. I was also talking to a friend yesterday. It made me lol because she like asked out of nowhere, "Hey, do you get jealous of other people ever?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course. Like, isn't that human?" But it made me think about the fact that like I noticed myself in the last 3 years getting jealous of my previous selves. And that is hilarious. And that makes me consider more deeply what jealousy is. Jealousy is a fantasy of who other people that you're envious of are, who you used to be. That's also a fantasy. Memories are a fantasy too. Because certainly in the past, I wasn't satisfied totally with myself, but now I'm jealous of a past self. Why? Because we're constantly comparing. And like jealousy is just a human feature. I think the self-awareness kicks in to neutralize the harmful feelings of jealousy. To understand that jealousy will happen no matter what. I'm jealous of like how fit I used to be, how physically able I used to be, but like I don't think I was mentally healthy back then, you know? So on what level am I jealous of my past self? Would I be willing to trade this body for that body if I also had to trade the brain? I don't think I would. I think I'm much more at peace with myself now, even though I feel so depressed about my physical health, you know? Because having a good relationship with yourself is maybe even more valuable to me than to have a body that looks hot and fit, you know, and being able to be more active and youthful. Because what did that land me? That landed me a lot of weird men who wanted to sleep with me but like not really talk with my weird brain. So it's almost like I catfished myself into relationships. Because people are attracted to the outside first. I don't blame any of those men. But I realize now how foolish it is to want to be hot in that way. Like, there are different reasons for wanting to be hot and fit. And I think I was maybe driven by it, not totally, but I think at least 60% because I wanted other people to like me. And that's a sort of self-abandonment, to do that kind of self-renovation for the intention of appealing to other people. And it's hard to be honest with yourself in the moment. I'm sure I'm still not fully honest with myself. I think that's what repression is. It's just like an unconscious process, you know? So even though I think I'm relatively less repressed than maybe other people, most other people, I'm still probably repressing some aspect. It's just like a safety mechanism that kicks into place without me being conscious of it. So we just never know. We never fully know ourselves. Yeah. One of my exes also seemed to be like sad or disappointed that I didn't want to drink. I did. I ended up like drinking with him, but I knew my own limits because my body doesn't process alcohol very well. I get the Asian flush. It becomes very physically uncomfortable for me. But, you know, like people use alcohol to, you're right, like a cheat code, like a shortcut, to escape the actual work that it takes to take down those defenses without alcohol. And I didn't really think too much about it at the time because I've always been told I'm like a prude, that I don't have fun, that I'm a killjoy. So I've always believed myself to be like less exciting and less lively than other people. So I thought the right or the normal thing to do was to like join him in drinking because of course everybody's social drinks, right? But now looking back, I'm just like, oh, like why do they need this? What are they really running away from? What are they using this for? Some people just like the taste of alcohol, but I don't know. It never tasted that good to me most of the time. All negative emotions are teachers. You just have to understand that they're there to teach you something about yourself and your environment instead of feeling attacked by it. And I think a lot of us feel attacked by negative emotions because society never taught us how to deal with them in a healthy, cooperative, mutually beneficial way. So society functions based off of telling us to repress more and more of ourselves. Don't acknowledge the pain. Look ahead, look forward, don't look down. If you're not looking down, the chances of you falling on your face are even higher, you know? And even if you're afraid of heights, not looking down doesn't change the fact that you might be hanging at a very dangerous height. It doesn't change that reality. It changes your perception, which is a reality, but that's not the entire reality. So when you're only tuned into one reality, yours, when another reality collides into your vision, you feel assaulted. You feel defensive. You feel caught unaware and vulnerable. So not being open to multiple realities existing, coexisting at the same time is a sort of detriment to you being prepared for changes in life. I don't know if this is theory of mine, but it just occurred to me, like, that's probably how it works. I don't know, is it? Feel free to disagree. Oh, yay. Thanks, classy consultant. I'm glad that you are enjoying this life. Very different content from Budget Eats, I understand, but a sign of the times, shall we say? The Budget Eats June was also real June. I've spoken about this on previous lives, but like shrooms have taught me that there are multiple selves. They are not always in agreement. So, you know, like you play it up for the camera, but that's still you. I think some people can put on a mask easier than I can, but like I don't have that skill of shutting off a certain aspect of me. It's very exhausting for me to do so. I remember when I still worked at Delish, we were shooting this morning bun video, and the videographer at the time told me I had to put on more makeup because without more makeup on my face, I looked dead. So I had to borrow a coworker's lipstick and blush, and it made me really self-conscious, and it like really ruined my mood that I had to put on this makeup before recording a video about how to make morning buns. And like that kind of just like I had to work extra hard to kind of repress my feelings momentarily just to get the job done that day, but it made me so conflicted and angry and sad inside. So when I started shooting content from home, that was like a great relief that I would be the only one directing myself in the moment, that I could put on whatever I wanted to. I would wear makeup if I wanted to, and I would not wear makeup if I didn't want to, and like that was so freeing. So Budget Eats was pretty real. And remember, we were going through periods of like social turmoil then too. BLM, people getting shot and murdered by the police, COVID, people are still dying. So I really didn't have it in me to be like fake to that degree of performing another self. I think I just kind of like amped up a certain aspect of myself to make it enjoyable, and I enjoyed being an entertainer, because I liked seeing other people enjoy my work. It felt like I was doing something to help in a way. But yeah. My sardonic sense of humor. It's still here, but unfortunately there's nothing to really joke about when we've seen so much. We've seen so much happen. Maybe she'll come back, you know? I was actually saying this to Erin yesterday. I was like, desire, the soil in which desire grows out of, my soil, is very arid right now. It's dry. It's very sad soil. So very little desire can grow out of a depleted soil. So that depends on environmental aspects too, you know? You can add compost and fertilizer to the soil to make it healthy again, but to make it sustainable, you need like bugs and worms and life forms in the soil to keep perpetuating its renewal. And we'll just have to see if desire can grow out of this patch of soil in the future. And that relies on factors in my control and out of my control. Any humor that I can express right now would be so dark. And honestly, maybe borderline disrespectful, just in the context of how much life we've seen get destroyed. I do believe that humor is like a defense and coping mechanism, but we have been like thoroughly assaulted, and just what use is a defense mechanism now when we're already like down, you know? There's no defense at this point when you see people get snatched off the street in your own cities. So the genocide is coming home, I guess. Oppression has always been here, but it's revealing itself. Honestly, Aaron was very generous with some of the ratings. Y'all weren't there to taste these things. People just can't, that was like one of the first tastes I had of how fragile Americans' tolerance was for critique and criticism. Criticism isn't an attack. Sometimes criticism is just an invitation for discussion on what reality is. But if you're understanding critique and criticism as an attack, that means your reality is so fragile and thin and brittle that it can't withstand an ounce of questioning. And that's what we're seeing now. When we don't have freedom of speech anymore, or freedom of press, we don't have freedom. Period. It's the amount of state abuse and force that we're seeing enacted and exercised on bodies, both far away and domestic. I think we're grappling with the fact that freedoms do not exist. They are just there when they can afford to be there. But now apparently this country cannot afford for there to be any freedom of speech anymore. So Palestine is where the reality of the United States cracks. And one has to wonder, why Palestine? Hashtag not all Americans, yes. Always not all, but if we may generalize at all. Well, the genocide is hitting a lot of us really hard because we've seen it. It's been widely televised on our phones and in our news outlets, and I know other genocides are happening, but we haven't been exposed to it as much. And Palestine is the one genocide that we know the U.S. is directly funding. And we have seen it evade international law, so there is no law now. Palestine and the genocide happening there is hitting us so hard because it is this particular genocide that is eroding our fantasies away. So now we're starting to see the uglies behind the gilding. It's melting away our fantasy of what the US government is and stands for, totally, right? And remember, I wasn't really ever historically well read. I wasn't really ever into politics, so I didn't really know the evils of what the US did. I was very ignorant. And Palestine, seeing it happen in real time, this is the first time that I have understood, oh shit, This is what the US has historically done, and we're seeing it right now on this scale. And they're punishing students and anyone speaking out against it now. I have not seen this amount of crackdown domestically just for speaking out against a genocide. So this genocide is like a revelation. It's ripping my former illusion of reality away. I think my mom, if she were still here, would agree that like this is not the America that she thought she was living in. She died with a certainty that America was always better than China, at least, if for nothing else, than on this freedom of speech part. We do not even have that now. And our government is defunding social services and still finding tens of billions of dollars to give in supplemental, genocidal aid. It's a farce. It's a very lethal, deadly, torturous farce that we live in. I just filed my taxes. I'm paying like 37% of my earnings away to state and federal government. To do what exactly? I've had to struggle to even get healthcare. It's expiring in July. I don't have guaranteed healthcare. The libraries are getting shorter and shorter hours and fewer days of operation. They're getting totally defunded in some states. I just don't know what we're all working so hard for. So it's not just Palestine that I'm worried about, that I'm thinking about, that I'm confused by, that I'm traumatized in understanding. It's all of our world. It's everything that is implicated in this genocide. That Palestine is showing us the whole network of wrongs. The functional wrongs too. Like these wrongs are what hold the world together right now. I think that's why the governments are cracking down so much, because like the abuses happening in Palestine is essential for our current iteration of capitalism to continue. And without this kind of oppression and human degradation, we wouldn't have what we have. So it affects my appetite for absolutely everything. Because now I know that there's a hidden cost behind everything I consume. Everything. We're overhauling language, for God's sake. What the hell is anti-Semitism anymore? We're changing the definitions of words. Inclusivity, protection, terrorism. Who's defining these things? Do we agree? Do we, the people, get a say? We don't. Not most of us. And right now it's reached the point where if you disagree, you get disappeared, which is a tactic that China has used for a very long time. And the reason why my parents left China. So freeing Palestine would mean freeing all of us trapped in these systems of injustice. But freeing Palestine and freeing us out of our own prisons would mean the downfall of the societies that we know them to be right now. So of course there's this kind of desire to break out of jail, and also this hesitancy and fear of what is outside of the jail, because we don't know. We've always been in jail. It's just that Palestine has made us realize how much imprisonment we've been in for so long. And now we're grappling with this like relationship with our own world of realizing that we were not nearly as free as we thought we were. That we were not nearly as empowered as we thought we were. That all of that was a lie. That we were sedated. And we're scared because we've been in jail for so long that we've lost our ability to do much because we've always been closeted here. So we have so many different kinds of atrophies that we're just now realizing how atrophied it is. Like my muscles going away. Like how I'm not able to really exercise anymore or even walk for more than an hour without being completely exhausted for 5 days following. So we're currently in the stage of negotiating how helpless we actually are and how much we are willing to actually build up to a more resilient self. And I'm seeing some people realizing we have no choice but to build ourselves up, but I'm also seeing a lot of normalization, repression, and submission. So who knows at what point we'll decide we can't take it anymore. But certainly for now we can tolerate a genocide, which is, that's already saying a lot. Yeah, we'll all deal with it differently, you know, which is why solidarity is so hard because we're not on the same page. And that used to frustrate me a lot and make me really depressed and sad and angry. But now my body is so broken down. Maybe I am also submitting to it. I just don't know anymore what is submission and what is rest. What is rumination and what is brainstorming? I don't really know how productive any of what I'm doing will be because I feel really, really laid out right now. Very disabled. So I still have a lot of privilege and blessing to have a roof over my head. But who knows, right? At what point do ICE start knocking on citizens' doors? Where does the line stop? This is a country that's rounded up its own Japanese American citizens before in a camp during wartime. So it's done it once, it can do it again. Grandma passed away in January, and I haven't looked into fibromyalgia yet, but maybe I will have to, or maybe I just do my best and rest. Classy consultant. That's a great idea. I am not the creator to do that because I do not know any historical cultural context for these foods. As you can see, I follow no cultural origin of any of the things that I make. But there are other creators who do that. There's Food History with Max Miller, there's Beryl. She does all sorts of like cultural deep dives and food experimentations. So the content world is vast. Explore. Find your new god. Appreciate the thought. Alright, folks. I'm gonna go check out Memo. You're coming with me. Oh. There he is. And there's my underpants. Hi, baby. Hi. How are ya? Yeah, I know. What a lovely day we get to spend together. Oh, hi. You're the love of my life. Yeah, you are. Yeah. Love of my life. Ripping up my bed sheets that I just bought. All of your nails are tearing holes in my sheets. Yeah, yeah. Everything is yours. Destroy away. You won't let me cut your nails, but what's gonna happen when they grow into your pads? You'll be extra angry, won't ya? We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, huh? Hi, baby. Are you not dying anymore? I think he decided to not die. Or maybe he did die, and then he was like, oh, she seems nice. I'll come back again for my next life. Here I am. Hello. Oh, okay. Yes. So you really got fibromyalgia from caretaking, huh? Alrighty then. One life for another. We exchange one life for another. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. We must exchange and transform. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna let me shower him. That's the problem. I would love to give him a shower. Do you see gunkies on him, or is it just his fur coloration? I do acknowledge that I have not been maintaining my house cleanliness as much as I used to. Hi, baby. You're very late. We're about to sign off. But we're glad you made it to see Freddy. Oh, not Freddy. Memo, I'm sorry. I just called you Freddy. Wow. There goes my brain. Wet paper towel. Yes, I actually have a like dollar store glove. A singular black dollar store glove. I sometimes wet that and I'll wipe him down. Baby. That's my cat husband. Hi, cat husband. I have seen Freddie. He's doing very, very well. He's enjoying his life. I actually just bought some Purina like liquid supplement packs for him. Apparently he loves those. So, yeah. I will have to go now, guys. I feel myself crashing very hard. But thank you so much for joining me. And I wish you a very, very lovely weekend. I'm not sure if I'll come on again tomorrow. And if I don't, I hope you have a great week ahead. Be well. Treat yourself kindly.